All right, good morning or good afternoon, everybody. My name is Greg Sterling with the Local Search Association, and I'm here with Amy Swartz from Google, and we're going to be talking about paid search best practices. And Amy's got a great presentation where she's going to take you through a lot of terrific information. And I'm going to get us started with just some general overview information that sets up her presentation. And then to field questions, you can ask questions at any time, and we'll get to as many of them as we can at the end. So next slide, please. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with LSA, we're a not-for-profit trade association. We do a lot of stuff, original research, events, webinars as today, reports, lots and lots of stuff. We have a big co-op initiative. So you can check that out at thelsa.org, and if you're interested in inquiring about membership, that's the email address to take a look at or to send to speak. Anyway, you know what to do with email. Next slide, please. Coming up in September and on the 18th in New York is the PLACE conference, which is one of our two big conferences. It's on indoor location analytics, online to offline attribution. Very, very interesting, enterprise focus, but it's state-of-the-art stuff that's going on with location data, and which is becoming increasingly important across the board in digital marketing. So you won't want to miss that if that's interesting to you. Next slide, please. All right, so I'm going to say my role typically in these webinars is to sort of tell people stuff they already know, but it's got to be done. Somebody's got to do it, so I'm going to do it. So as you all know, consumers are using multiple devices, 3, 4, 5 devices, and sometimes on a consulting all kinds of resources to make purchase decisions. It's getting more challenging for marketers to sort of reach consumers at the right time, to do correct. So our research and others reveals that depending on the category, you've got between 3 and 10 sources along the path to purchase. Next slide, please. And as everybody also knows, the desktop has declined in time spent with digital media. It's now roughly a third. This is ComScore data. Roughly a third of digital media time, although it has a disproportionate number of e-commerce conversions. So most of digital media time is now being spent on mobile. Amy's going to get into that a little bit more. Search, too, has shifted. So we have billions and billions of searches every month on both platforms, but mobile has definitely taken the lead in a lot of categories. Next slide, please. In fact, overall, more than 50% of search queries are on mobile devices, as Google said in 2015. So this is Hitwise data that shows by category, and this is 2016, so it's a little bit out of date, but it shows by category the percentage of queries that are coming from mobile devices. And you can see that in most of these categories, it's about 50%. Next slide. And local search, which is an area near and dear to my heart, is a particularly hot area. And there's a lot of data like this. This is just one data point among many. So consumers who conduct local searches tend to be lower in the funnel, tend to be ready to take action, and half of them are going to take it. There's a lot of data and a lot of data points that basically show the connection between local search and offline conversions typically. Next slide, please. This is LSA proprietary research conducted by Burke, which is a research firm, and what we see across media, these icons at the top of these boxes all represent different media types that people use to find local business information. And what we see here, it's a lot of data, but basically search is the single channel with the greatest reach among a variety of media types. So, and these numbers are up since 2015. And when you look at, this is past week in the chart, past month, and past year, the numbers go up. Next slide, please. It's also the media channel that is perceived to be most accurate and is the most trusted among different media channels. And those numbers have also increased since last year. Next slide, please. So basically what we're seeing in the market is that search is as powerful and more powerful than it's ever been, despite all these many different channels and different media types. And this is an interesting quote that you may not be entirely able to read from a piece of research done by Millward Brown, and it was cited by Google. It's the notion of intent versus audience identity or identity. So in many cases, if you're solely doing audience targeting, you may be missing a portion of the audience. In this particular instance, 70% of potential mobile shoppers, because there are certain sets of assumptions and expectations around audiences that may not be accurate. The data cited, which I don't have here, are men buy diapers. Gamers there's a huge audience of female gamers. There's just a lot of counterintuitive stuff going on that search picks up that audience targeting by itself may not. Next slide, please. And what we're seeing, which is very interesting, and Amy's going to get more deeply into this, is the evolution of marketers have to adapt to that. These are some organic screens from my iPhone that show SERPs, and everybody on this call knows this from just living in the world. SERPs are changing pretty dramatically depending on the query. Local information, answers, carousels, richer results, and that takes adaptation in terms of data and in terms of video advertising. Next slide, please. And that's what I just said, that paid is evolving new ad types, new tactics around attribution. You're seeing leads, seeing shopping ads with rich data. You're seeing, screens that are filled up by ads in some cases. So lots of changes, lots of shifts as Google responds to changing consumer behavior. And that may be my last slide. I think it is, Amy. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Yes, thank you. Go take it away.
Oh, hi everybody. We are going to talk today about a couple of topics that are near and dear to my heart. Mine, known as Create the Creatives and Mobile Speed. But to tell you a little bit about myself, originally from Buffalo, New York, I've pretty much lived all over North America and even the island of Hawaii. So I like to say I've been around a bit. I started in advertising when there were 4 choices: TV, radio, newspaper, and yellow pages. So I've seen a great deal, and I've transitioned to the digital space, about 10 years ago. And my specialty is working with all sorts of businesses and agencies and our partners to make sure that we translate what I say digital into whatever language you speak. So with that, I'm going to get started. So I'm certain that each of us, and I think that I skew this to the upside, and our teenage kids do as well, we spend about 3 hours a day on our mobile device just, connecting, right? Trying to buy something, checking our social feeds, looking at email, deciding where I'm going to have dinner tonight. Yet, to make a purchase, to make a reservation, to buy my new pair of shoes, it'll take less than 20 seconds to make that purchase online. And I think we can all agree that the mobile device has really changed the way that we do business. And it's very fair to say, we used to talk about going online, and I'm saying this in quotation marks, and you can't see how animated I am, how much you're enjoying this because we're on a webinar, which saddens me. But we actually all live online, and that's one of the reasons that you all took time out of your busy day to be here today to learn more about this. Greg was with the billions of searches every month, and when you think about it, there are about 3.5 billion searches that happen on Google each day, which just really is mind-boggling, and that's, we're trying to figure out how do we help you capture your potential clients there. But the context changes throughout the day. So if I'm going over to a friend's house and I need to pick up baby wipes, right, it's going to be a different conversation whether I'm on my way to work or if I'm already home at night. What I'm looking for, how I'm going to shop, am I going to go right out, am I going to order it online? The context of what I'm doing and what you're doing changes depending on the time of day and what you're doing. So what we know that those moments they matter to each of us. How we communicate, how we speak to our potential clients at the different times of day, and whether we should even be bothering them, whether we're going to be interrupting something that they're doing. Every moment of the day we have potential. And at Google, what we have done is put these, when talking about search, we have put a framework into 3 different pieces. And we call it create, complement, and capture, which is what I'm going to dive into for the create the creatives that I talked about earlier. So first of all, I'm going to talk to you about creating compelling ads that can meet and exceed your business goals, and then how do we make sure that we're complementing those ads, and oh yeah, we still have to capture customers at the end of the day, right? So in creating, what I want us to do is rethink how we are getting our message out there, right? Before it was okay to have one ad group, and you can see this, this phone here, this mobile device. Because of the way people use the internet, right? They shop differently, whether I'm looking for a deal on sneakers, whether I want them to be a certain color, whether I want them to be delivered, depending on what I'm looking for, the message that we get. So before, one ad group was fine. That is no longer okay. So within each, you want to have 3 ads in each ad group. That's the first part. Now that we've done that, now that you create the ads, then we have to make sure that we rotate them so that we get the most relevant information out there, the best information at that time when somebody is most interested. And I'm certain that you've heard about machine learning and all the great pieces about that. And we're going to chat a little bit more about that as well. When you actually implement ad rotation, you can see about a 5% increase in your conversions, whether you want clicks or conversions, no matter what it is, because we want to make sure that you're getting the right customer at the right time. So what does that mean? What that means is that in ad rotation, you have the opportunity to let the machine learning from what is converting and how the best customers are finding you to let that happen. So what we want to help do is improve the quality of your traffic. It's not just getting anybody to your website, it's getting the right people to your website. And also simplifying it, right? Isn't that a nice thing to talk about when we talk about digital advertising, to make it simple? I have this diagram on the right here because you'll see that when you are setting it up, whether you take care of your AdWords on your own, your digital marketing, or whether you work with a partner or an agency, you'll see that you have opportunities to rotate your ads. Well, you can have the opportunity to rotate them evenly, and my recommendation is that you do not do that. I repeat, do not rotate evenly. What you want to do with the rotation is optimize for clicks or conversions. Let that machine learning go into play so you get the best qualified people going to your website, so we can make the phone ring, so you can get people through your door or your virtual door. So to sum up the first part, we want to make sure that you create 3 ads per ad group and make sure that they're rotating. So let's talk about the complement part. What we want to make sure that we do is that we really help you enhance your message, because we want to make sure that we have improved visibility, right? You want the most real estate that you can get on the page. But it's not real estate, I don't want to insult anybody, in the swampland. We want to give you that oceanfront or mountain front real estate. And so we're going to talk about the importance of implementing 4 extensions. And why is that? So you can get the best quality traffic. And of course, we want to make sure that the ads are appealing for people that are a hotel, for people that need an attorney, right? We want to make sure that we get that information out there, because again, we do see an uplift in clicks and conversions. And at the end of the day, in all my years in advertising, I rarely have met a business owner, a CEO, CFO that does not want to see a return on investment. So making sure that we have all these pieces set up will help that. So I'm going to chat with you about setting up the right extensions for your business. And as I said, we want to set up 4 extensions, 4 ad extensions. And the ones that we want to make sure that we set up on every single campaign are site links, call-out links, and structured snippets. And I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. And then you can see the other extensions, the other ad extensions that we will want to implement as well, if they are relevant to your business, right? I mean, that's the beauty of this, is we can do things that are best for your business. I actually saw this on Instagram, and I thought it was pretty amusing, so I thought, what the heck, I need to share it with my friends. So I don't know how many of you can relate to this. Parents at 28, right? Their parents at 28 were married, multiple kids in the house. Now, this is not me at 28. As you can tell, I'm probably a little bit older. But maybe my niece would be, I prefer to order food from an app so I don't have to speak to any other human, which is why there's a good thing that now we have app extensions to capture that business. So let's talk about site links and what the importance of site links. First of all, as I said before, they give you more results on the page itself. They make you more visible. They will increase the engagement. So when somebody is searching for something, the site links are really the doors to your business, right? And again, more conversions, very easy to manage. You can update, you can change them as you need to. And so it's really important that you have your site links, really the doors to your business. Oops, sorry. Sorry about that. My computer just went a different way. Call-out extensions. Now, call-out extensions really are what makes your business unique, right? Highlighting valuable attributes for your products, your services. Again, it will boost the engagement and it will boost your click-through rate. You know, let's say that you have free pickup. That's a very important call-out extension, pickup and delivery, that you want to let people know about your business. Brand awareness, let's say that, you know, you have a zero waste policy, or you use only organic materials. Again, a call-out extension will help you get that message across. It gives you the opportunity to capture customers early in their process of making a buying decision. And then structured snippets. Again, getting more qualified lead because you want to give your users specific information. So amenities at that hotel. Do we have Wi-Fi? Do you have a pool? Is there a gym? Right? I always have to add something about shoes in my presentations because I happen to have a shoe disease, which doesn't make me a bad person. It just makes me a good consumer. So the styles that you sell, right? If I'm looking for boots as opposed to, I don't know, espadrilles. I need to know that. And then some best practices for ad extensions. You want to make sure that you don't have too much repetition. Remember that you want to have those 3 extensions that I talked about, site links, structured snippets, and callouts, and then you want to have a 4th one that is very specific to your business. And make sure that the content is fresh and relevant and high quality. When you're setting up your campaigns, really think about what makes you special, what sets you apart. Why did you go into business? If you're an agency, you know, what do you know about your clients that really makes them special, that helps them stand out from the crowd? So now that we've talked about leveraging extensions, right? And also remember at least one extension that's relevant for your business. So we've created these amazing ads. We've thought about exactly the message we want to get across, right? We have 3 ad groups within each ad. We have the complement there. We have ad extensions and they make sense. Now we have to make sure that we actually capture that business. And what do I mean by that? Well, again, we're going to chat for a minute about return on investment. And one of my favorite pieces these days is the profit-driven marketing. And you can read about it on Think with Google. It's very interesting, and it really talks about advertising as an investment and not an expense. It's making sure that you are investing enough in your marketing budget to get your message across, to get the right message across, to get your message across at the right time to the right person, whether I'm just beginning my search or whether I'm ready to purchase a refrigerator, right? Whether I'm just shopping for a new air conditioning unit or it's 100 degrees and I live in New York City and it's time that I get one. We have to make sure that you capture those customers. So I'm going to chat about something that you've probably, if you've been in digital marketing, you've heard about before. It is definitely worth talking about again. And what is that? That is impression share. That is the opportunity of how often for your certain keyword term that you can show up. And what does that have to do with? Well, that has to do with your budget. So when I talk about advertising being an investment, you've got to give yourself enough budget to make sure that you have the capabilities to be there when somebody's looking for you. So if it's 8 o'clock in the morning and I want to make dinner reservations, right? When I finally want to make those dinner reservations at noon because I'm ready to, you are still there. Whether it's remarketing, whether it's doing YouTube advertising, you want to make sure that you have enough budget so you can not only show up, may need your goods or services, right? We want to make sure that you are there at the right time. So that is how you would capture that traffic. That's how you will capture that audience. So again, to put a nice little bow on this piece of the framework, we want to make sure that you 3 ads per ad group. We want to make sure that you optimize them using that machine learning. You don't want to do it evenly. And then complementing it, making sure that you're leveraging the extensions, right? And make sure that one of the extensions of those 4 are specifically about your business. And also we want to make sure that you have enough impression share, that you show up enough so people can actually do business with you when they're ready. So let's talk about mobile speed, because besides shoes, I have another bad habit. I love cars, right? So let's talk about speed here a little bit. And let's talk about not car speed, but mobile speed. Because mobile speed is the core of any great experience. Think about yourself. Think about how you search. Think about how your family's looking for something. We are less patient than ever, right? We just expect when I Google something that it's going to show up. If I'm looking for a car and I type in Mustang, my expectations is that's what I'm about, right? If I decide that I want to write a will, I want to type in wills and I want to have somebody near me show up. And I want it quickly. And you're going to keep hearing about this from Google, about the importance of mobile speed. And you already have with AMP pages and what have you. So to that point, I find this extremely interesting. What do you dislike most about browsing on the web on your mobile device? And we had a survey. And what annoyed people, what made people the craziest, bar anything else, was 46% said that waiting for a slow site to load made them absolutely just impatient. Now, those are some Amy terms in there, right? What used to make me very annoyed is when you look down here at the getting redirected to homepage, people don't even care about that anymore as much as they care about the fact that your site better be fast. It better show up fast. It better give me the information that I'm looking for. So let me chat with you a little bit more about that. Because unfortunately, slow and steady is not going to win the race for you. As we know, 40% of people that go to your site will abandon it if it doesn't load within 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. I mean, that is not a lot of time for it to load. Think about this. 52% say that a fast load time will build loyalty, right? It tells people that you actually are better at what you do. You're better at what you do, and they're going to be more loyal and think that you have your act together as a business because your page loaded quickly. There's a lot to gain from having some best practices, and unfortunately there's a lot to lose if we don't have best practices of having a fast website. So when we chat about reducing the load time to boost conversions, check this out. When we go from 15 seconds to 7 seconds, and I like you so I won't count backwards, but you know I could. You can increase the conversion 24%. Raise your hand if you wouldn't like to increase the conversion on your website 24%. I can see like 600 hands going up. I can see that. All the way down to 4 seconds to 2 seconds, 2%. So the overall conversion from going from 15 seconds to 2 seconds, 30%. Now, I don't know how many of you ever saw the movie Elf, but that's ginormous. And I want to tell you, the moonshot that we have in Google is to have your sites load in 5 seconds or less. And I'm not certain where all of you are in that. I'm going to give you a tool in a minute so that you can check that out. Again, you can see these conversion rates and how they really change as we make our sites quicker. And people will believe in us. We haven't even talked to them and they already think that we're great. Most times I won't talk about big box stores when I'm talking to medium-sized businesses in the U.S. because we normally can't duplicate what Walmart could do as far as advertising or as far as budget, right? But in this instant, we can. So what I want to share with you here is Walmart did the heavy lifting here. They did the legwork. And what they found was that Walmart saw that a 2% increase in conversion for every 1 second they made their site load faster, right? And you can do that with your sites. And they already have all the investment to tell them exactly how it works. So the speed of your site is actually going to start to determine your actual cost per click. It's going to determine how often you show up. It's going to determine your quality score, which will determine your ad rank. And when I talk about quality score, I still very much like to chat about it by saying it's very much like a credit score. The higher your credit score, the lower your interest you pay. The higher your quality score, the less you pay and the more often you're going to show up. And we all want to get the best value that we can. So I want to help us to be sure that we can get our sites faster with the best information, right? Because first we have to create the best ads that we can. Then we want to make sure that we complement them and capture them. But we have to be fast with our page speed. So I'm going to give you 5 very simple solutions for your site that you can take some notes on this. First of all, make sure that your site is visible and that you have the relevant information. And I've been talking about that. You know, think about how you want to do business, what you're looking for. Help answer some of the questions for your potential customers. Must be present to win, I like to say. Implement filters, very simple filters, onto your mobile site. And so I will use the example of, I don't know, boots. So I would have a filter and it would say boots, and then there would be a drop down and it would have color and it might say red or black, and then it would say size 6.5, just in case anybody wanted to get me boots. So make sure that you have really simple filters so people can find what they need. Design simple forms. The experience that somebody has on their mobile device, I like to say we don't want to put 10 pounds in a 5-pound bag, right? So streamline a complex form so that your customers can do business with you easily. Now, this is actually my pet peeve. Can I please just do business with you as a guest? Are you really going to make me sign in to spend my money, right? Anybody out there, does that make you crazy as well? Like, all I want to be able to do is spend my money and purchase. So my recommendation here is to let someone purchase as a guest. And make it easy to convert from one device from another, because, 95% of people that are going to go on your website are not going to purchase the first time. I live in New York now. I live in Manhattan, and I'm on my way down to the train station, and by the time I realize I haven't made the purchase, I'm on my laptop at work. Of course, if I was going to shop during work hours, but I don't because we're recording this. So think about your shopping habits, think about your customers' shopping habits, and make sure that you put some best practices in there. Now I have a tool, and I'm going to take a quick second here and let you type in your website, and this is called testmysite.thinkwithgoogle.com. And I just want to take a minute here and have you type in your site and find. See if you are just wowed, or see if you think you need some help. I'm going to give that a couple of minutes, because this is really important. We're all so busy, and again, thank you for taking time out of your really busy day, that if we don't stop and actually do this now, it'll seem like a good idea later, and you just may not get to it. Well, if you like what you see, that's amazing, and high five the person that's in the room with you. And if you're not pleased with it, I know that I've given you a bit of direction on things that you can do. The beautiful thing is there are some pretty simple fixes that you should be able to make so that you get a better value, that your ads convert better, so that you get a better qualified customer. That's really what we want to make sure happens. So to wrap up what I've talked to you about in my piece here, make sure that you're creating enticing ads, right? Think if you would be wowed with the ads that you're creating. Think if they answer the question of what somebody's searching for. Every page of your website is a door to your business. So if you're a furniture store, clearly we want to make sure that within, you're creating ads that are very different for office furniture, to living room, to bedroom, to patio, or lanai, depending on where you are. And then when you complement, make sure that you're taking advantage of that real estate with those ad extensions, right? It's not about just the real estate, it's what we do with it. It's how you put your best foot forward with your business. Really think about that when you're setting things up. And then make sure that you're budgeting properly, right? So you can capture your customers all along their customer journey, whether it's, the pizza that I'm going to purchase or the attorney that is going to take me a little bit longer. Make sure that you have enough budget in there so that you can get the right message out there. The mobile experience will continue. I mean, Greg had some great stats, and it's not really just about the statistics of all of this. It's about what they mean. It's about the fact that we are all on mobile devices more than ever, and that is only going to continue. If you're pleased with your mobile experience, that is amazing, and you'll want to keep improving it and keep getting it better. And if there's room for work, that is absolutely fine too, because we can do this. And I'm certain you won't ever forget that Mustang doing those burnouts, right? Speed, speed, speed. Make sure that the experience is a fast and quality one.
Amy, if there's one final thing you want to say to the audience, we've talked about a lot of stuff today regarding AdWords best practices. What would be your part about everybody?
My parting advice would be get your message across clearly and concisely so that people can, it's easy to do business with you. Those would be my parting words, and I appreciate the questions and the time that everybody spent with us today.
Yes, and I do too, and I think everybody, and I apologize again if we didn't get to your question. Thank you very much for your time, and hopefully this has been useful to you. Thanks very much, everybody, and goodbye.